Hi, Sam here from Roberts Geospatial. Welcome to part 3 of our vegetation study of Coorabulka Station using ProRaster Scientific. So in part 2 we built mosaics and collated mosaics. In this part 3 we're going to take our collated mosaics and expand them out to more time points to before and after the target time point. And then I'm going to show you my final products for this project. So in the example we just saw, we didn't gain very much because we didn't bring in any data from other time points into that mosaic. So let's now try to bring in more data into our collated mosaic. So let's say that I want to produce a collated mosaic for July the 17th. And I'm prepared to bring in data from the visitation before the 17th and the visitation after the 17th. So that's the 9th and that's the 25th. So I can select those 6 scenes and then right click and say create collated mosaic product into my demo database. Now we're going to do something a little bit different with ordering the scenes now. So this time I want everything to be as close as possible to the 17th of July. That's the center of my that's the date that I'm going to assign to my mosaic. So the way that we can do this, there are 2 ways. Firstly, click on the scene in the list that is at the date that you actually want. And in the case of Landsat, the acquisition date is in the middle of the ID string here, so you can actually tell what it is. So 2022-07 is July on the 17th. So I click on that and then go to my Order Scenes button and drop this down. And you can see that we have some other things. So we have Order by Acquisition Date, Order by proximity to the scene acquisition date, or order by proximity to a manual date. So in this case, I'm going to order by proximity to the scene acquisition date. Now, in order for this to work, I have to have selected a scene. So I've done that. I've selected 17th July, hit that button. And now, remembering that these ones at the bottom will get rendered first and will be overprinted by these ones at the top. You can see that the scenes that are further away in time will be rendered first or will be used first in the dataset, and they'll be progressively overprinted by the scenes that get closer in time to our actual destination time, which is this one here on the 7th of 17th. Now there's a second option I'll just show you quickly. There's also order by proximity to manual date. Now in that case you can decide what the date will be and assign it yourself. So if I thought, okay, this is about the middle of the month, so I'm going to use a standard date for the middle of the month. I'm going to use the 15th. So the 15th of July 2022. So I go order scenes by proximity to manual date, 2022, July the 15th, and we'll just say at 12 o'clock. Hit OK. And then it's going to order according to the proximity to that manual date. Of course, nothing much changed because it was close to what we already had already. If we put in 2022 July the 1st at 12 o'clock and then hit OK, you'll see that this one at July the 9th gets pushed up to the top because it's closest to the 1st, and the 17th, and then the 25th comes last. But we don't want to do that. We want to order by proximity to the 17th. So we'll take that. We have to enter our mask, of course, and we'll open that in the editor. So now we have a collated mosaic. In here you can see in the XML, in the create product XML, You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scenes that are contributing to that mosaic. So let's do that for a few more in a row. So we've got here from the 17th to the 2nd of August. We're targeting the 25th of July. Create into there. We're targeting the 25th, so I'm going to order by proximity. Not going to open the editor. Pixels clear, okay. Make another one from the 25th. Now we're targeting the 2nd of August. Here's my target. Order by proximity. Hit OK. And just do one more. So now we're targeting the 10th of August. Here's the date that I want to target. Order by proximity. Hit OK. So let's go into that. Here's our product database. And here's our new collated mosaics. Now let's create a sequence from those. Collated mosaic sequence by 3 scenes, so we'll just change that name. Let's render that now. Again, we just have atmospheric removal, pan sharpening, no masking because we have already masked. Come into our red channel, hit July. Now let's see what happens when we go down through this list. 17th, the 25th, August the 2nd. Now previously August the 2nd was completely cloud affected. You can see that we've now got data in the entire mosaic. If we zoom in a bit, you can still see some kind of effects because the masking is not perfect because both the Landsat and the Sentinel people tend to be fairly conservative about assigning cloud to pixels. So sometimes the edges of the clouds are not really masked out particularly well. They should be more aggressive, I feel. Going down to August the 10th. August the 10th was also very cloud affected, but we've pulled in data from elsewhere, from before and after, and we've filled in all that data. So now we're going to get more consistent statistics for those time points when we compute it. So let's now go to the products that I'd prepared before. So I'll go to my Coorabulka product database. And you can see in here that I have a SCAD load of products. So firstly I made all the mosaics, then I made the mosaic sequence, then I made the collated mosaics, then I collated it by bringing in 3 scenes, one before, a central scene, and then one after. That's my mosaic X3. Made a sequence out of that. And then I went one step further and I brought in 5 scenes for each mosaic. So I'm bringing in data from time points up to 2 visitations before and after each scene. And I'll just make a couple of points about that. So firstly, when you're at the beginning and end of your sequence, obviously at the beginning you won't have, let's say you're bringing in 5 time points, you'll have your time point, you'll have 2 after, but you'll have nothing before it. And so in that case I just took the 3 time points, the 2 after and the central time point, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't cause any issues for the algorithms or anything else. Also, I didn't acquire all this data all at once, and so I acquired some data, and then and built all the products, and then a couple of months later I would get some more data, and I would add all that data to the existing products. So you can edit all these products. So you go into your collated mosaic. The ones at the end you might need to edit because you've got more scenes now that you can add on. You can build new mosaics. You add those into your database. And then your collated mosaic sequence, you can go and add in more collated mosaics as you acquire them. And all that's quite easy. For example, if we go into the collated mosaic sequence, and I just go modify and run operation, I get this dialog which shows me all of the collated mosaics that are in this sequence. I can delete one if I want. I can select a new one if I want, so I go into the database that I want to choose, and I select, I think this was an X3, so I choose one of those, and it goes into the sequence. It knows the date, so you don't need to order any of these things. It's all ordered automatically, and then you hit OK, and that will update that, which I'm not going to actually do. So you can edit those things and update them as you go along. So if you were, at home doing this and data was dribbling in, maybe once a month you'd sit down, download a few more scenes, and you can just update all of your products and add the new scenes into your new products and update your analysis. So let's go to the mosaic sequence, and we'll render it. I've got a rendering algorithm sitting in here already. So now we've got quite a few more scenes included. So it takes a little bit longer to load. So we'll go up to the first scene, July the 9th. There it is. Bring it over here, make it nice and big perhaps. We can close this and close this down. So now we can step through the entire sequence. And this one we've got no masking and we've got no collating, so we're going to see all the cloud. So in early August we get some cloud, and on it goes. Big cloud event in September. And as we step through it, we'll start to see the flood events occurring as well as rain events. Now I actually have these as a video, so let's take a look at that. Mosaic. So now we're stepping through one frame per second, so it'll be about a 49-second video. So over the first period we get a bit of cloud, but overall the station is drying out. And then we have a big rain event and a big flood event, and you can see it coming down. You can see that blue in the Georgina and the Diamantina rivers. Then there's a second flood event later on, and that has an impact on the vegetation, and then it kind of settles down, and we get some more localized rain events towards the end, and that's the end of the sequence. So we've got some local rain events which cause some vegetation change in the desert areas of the station, and we're also going to see at least 2 flood events come down the rivers. So that video had all the cloud in it. Let's go to a video now that doesn't have the cloud in it. Here's the collated mosaic made from 5 different time points. So now we've eliminated all of the cloud, And even though we'll see some artifacts, most pixels will be populated, and we'll see that from our analysis later on. For now and then you can just see some black pixels where it's failed to fill in the gaps, but mostly entirely filled in. And it gives you a better picture of the flood events. I mean, for example, you could just see that flood snaking its way down through the river system. And I think we're just about at the end. There we go, towards the end. So that's our sequence of corrected, collated mosaics.